Today's election day, so if you haven't voted early or by mail yet, today is the day to get out and vote at your assigned polling locations.
Election day is today, and so far with early voting and vote by mail, voters have been turning out in Flagler County.
Well, Flagler County has had the highest turnout for both the primary and the general so far for these special elections this year, so we should be really proud. There's still some room to go. I was hoping we could hit 30%. Maybe 1 in 3 people could select the next member of Congress for our congressional district. But right now we're sitting at 23%. Election day sometimes can be up as high as 10%. It really depends. You know, a special election, it's hard to gauge turnout because they don't happen all the time. So I really hope we get up to 30% for this election.
Election day voters must vote in their assigned polling place. Polls are always open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Election day. And Lenhart says it's very important to know exactly where to vote.
Because of the unexpected timing of the special election, some precincts have changed. So make sure you double check before you go, especially if you vote in a school. Those locations are not available for this election. You can check it online at flaglerelections.gov to find your precinct voting location for this election.
Specifically in the 6th District special election for both Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Wheel, that leaves more than 4 in 5 registered voters to win over by 7 p.m. when the polls close.
So today's election is really important. We will be selecting our next member in Congress in the U.S. House. Basically, the seat became vacated when our congressional member was selected for a position in Washington under the new presidential administration. So that created a vacancy, which needs to be filled by election, and today's that day.
And one final reminder from Lenhart.
Make sure you check your precinct voting location for this election. It could be different than where you vote normally. And the library is an early voting site, so unless you live in the B section right around the library, that's not your voting location. So make sure you check and know where you go before you leave the house.
Polls are open until 7 p.m. tonight. For Flagler's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, April 1st. Palm Coast City Council has 2 meetings scheduled for today. Brittany Kershaw is the Communications and Marketing Director.
The Palm Coast City Council meets today, and they actually have 2 meetings planned. The first one begins at 3 p.m., and it is to discuss the vacant City Council seat for District 3. The applications to fill that seat were due on March 19th, and 13 people in District 3 have applied to fill that vacancy. City Council will have the opportunity to interview those applicants and help them narrow down who they're going to select. They'll have a further discussion on April 8th, and final appointment is scheduled for April 15th. Following the special workshop, there will be a business meeting beginning at 6 p.m. with proclamations at 5:30 p.m. And the first item on the agenda is recognizing some youth in our community who helped design a health and wellness calendar. So those children who submitted drawings that were selected for the calendar will be recognized and given prizes. Following that, the Community Development Department will present 3 final plats, and these are developments in our community that are in the final stages. Afterwards, there will be 3 stormwater and engineering projects presented, and each of these is to improve drainage in different areas of our community. One of the communities would be the Woodlands area, another is the K section, and the final is in the Pine Grove Waterway Dredging Project. There will also be items on the consent agenda, and public comment will be open at the beginning and end of the meeting, as well as on each agenda item before the final vote. So we encourage the community to come out and participate in their city government.
If you cannot attend the meetings in person, you can watch both of them on the city's YouTube channel or on the WNZF Facebook page. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. In other news, 38-year-old Ashley Vea was fatally shot in her Deltona home early Monday by her ex-husband, 33-year-old Samuel Vea. Their child discovered her body around 2 a.m. Samuel fled in a white SUV, leading law enforcement on a high-speed chase north on I-95. He crashed in Palm Coast around 3:21 in the morning and was later found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He died at the hospital. Just days earlier, Samuel had been arrested for domestic violence against Ashley, but was released on bond. And finally, tonight, the WNZF Sports Network covers the talk of the town this spring, Matanzas softball. With a stellar 10-1 record, the Pirates take on the St. Augustine Yellow Jackets. Don't miss any of the action. First pitch is at 6 tonight on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.